Flight A-27, The Plane That Vanished, Part 1. It was a cold and stormy night over the Atlantic Ocean. On June 14, 2009, Flight A-27 prepared for what should have been a routine journey from New York to London. The aircraft carried 214 passengers and 9 crew members. Families were returning home. Business travelers were finishing their work trips. Students were excited about new adventures. For everyone on board, it seemed like an ordinary flight. At exactly 9:15 p.m., the aircraft lifted off the runway and climbed into the dark night sky. Inside the cabin, passengers relaxed as the city lights disappeared beneath the clouds. Everything appeared normal. But nearly 2 hours into the flight, weather conditions began to change. A powerful storm system had formed over the Atlantic. Thunder echoed through the sky. Lightning flashed around the aircraft. The captain informed passengers that they might experience some turbulence. Most people remained calm. After all, modern airplanes are built to handle storms. But this storm was different. At 11:43 p.m., air traffic controllers received a message from Flight A-27. The captain reported unusual electrical disturbances affecting some instruments. Controllers advised the crew to change course and avoid the strongest part of the storm. The captain acknowledged the instruction. That was the last normal communication anyone would ever receive from Flight A-27. 4 minutes later, something terrifying happened. A strange signal suddenly appeared on the controller's screen. The transmission was incomplete, broken, distorted. Only fragments of words could be heard through heavy static. Controllers immediately attempted to contact the aircraft. No response. They tried again. Still nothing. The radar signal began flickering. Then, without warning, it disappeared completely. Flight A-27 had vanished. At first, controllers believed it was a temporary technical problem. Sometimes radar contact can be lost for a few moments. But minutes passed. Then more minutes. Nothing. The aircraft was gone. Emergency procedures were activated immediately. Search and rescue teams were dispatched across the Atlantic Ocean. Military aircraft joined the operation. Ships scanned the ocean for any sign of wreckage. Everyone expected debris to be found quickly, but nothing was there. Days turned into weeks. Search teams covered thousands of square miles of ocean. They searched day and night. No floating wreckage, no emergency beacon, no life rafts, no survivors. It was as if the aircraft had simply vanished into thin air. News of the disappearance spread around the world. Families waited desperately for answers. Experts appeared on television trying to explain what might have happened. Some believed the storm caused a catastrophic failure. Others suggested a fire or electrical malfunction. But investigators faced one major problem. There was no evidence. Without wreckage, there were no answers. Months passed, then years. The mystery slowly faded from public attention. Flight A-27 became one of aviation's greatest unsolved disappearances. Most people assumed the truth would never be discovered, but they were wrong. Years later, a team of researchers re-examined old communication records from the night of the disappearance. They hoped modern technology might reveal something investigators had missed. At first, they found nothing unusual. Then one technician noticed a faint audio signal hidden beneath layers of radio interference. The signal was incredibly weak, almost impossible to hear. Using advanced software, researchers cleaned the recording. What they heard shocked everyone. A voice emerged from the static, soft, distant, almost ghostly. The voice spoke only 4 words: "We are still here." Silence followed. Then the recording ended. Investigators were stunned. The transmission appeared to use the same communication frequency as Flight A-27. Even more disturbing, the signal seemed to originate from an empty section of the Atlantic Ocean. There was nothing there. No island, no ship, no known source capable of sending the message. The discovery reignited worldwide interest in the mystery. Government agencies reopened files. Aviation experts returned to the case. New theories began to emerge. What happened to Flight A-27? Did the aircraft crash into the ocean? Was the message a hoax? Or was there something far stranger hidden beneath the waves? The deeper investigators searched, the more mysterious the case became. And what they would discover next would change everything. To be continued in Part 2, Flight A-27, The Plane That Vanished, Part 2. The mysterious transmission shocked investigators around the world. After years of silence, the words "We are still here" had brought Flight A-27 back into the spotlight. But the biggest question remained unanswered. Who sent the message? And where did it come from? A special investigation team was formed to analyze the signal. Using advanced technology, experts traced the transmission to a remote area of the Atlantic Ocean. It was nearly 800 miles away from the aircraft's last known position. The location made no sense. If the plane had crashed, how could a signal originate so far away? Still, the discovery was important enough to launch a new search mission. Several research vessels were sent to the coordinates. For days, they scanned the ocean floor using sonar equipment. At first, they found nothing unusual. Then on the sixth day, a strange object appeared on the sonar screens. It was large, metallic, and buried deep beneath the ocean floor. The team immediately deployed an underwater drone. As the drone descended into the darkness, everyone watched the live video feed. The water became colder and darker. Visibility was almost zero. Then suddenly, something appeared, a section of an aircraft wing. The investigators couldn't believe their eyes. For the first time in years, physical evidence linked to Flight A-27 had finally been found. The discovery made international headlines. Recovery teams worked around the clock. More wreckage was located scattered across the ocean floor. Pieces of the fuselage, parts of the landing gear, fragments of passenger seats. Yet something about the wreckage seemed strange. The damage patterns didn't match a normal crash. Some sections appeared almost untouched. Others looked as if they had been exposed to extreme heat. Experts struggled to explain it. As investigators continued searching the wreckage, they discovered something even more surprising. One of the aircraft's emergency data storage units had survived. The device was badly damaged but not completely destroyed. Engineers spent months attempting to recover its contents. Finally, they succeeded. The recovered data revealed the aircraft's final moments. At first, everything looked normal. The pilots were discussing weather conditions. The aircraft systems were functioning correctly. Then a warning alarm suddenly activated. Several navigation instruments began failing at the same time. The captain sounded confused. He reported seeing unusual readings on multiple displays. Moments later, the cockpit recording captured something unexpected. The first officer asked a question. "Captain, do you see that?" There was a brief pause, then the captain responded, "That's impossible." The recording ended only seconds later. Investigators listened to the audio hundreds of times, but nobody knew what the pilots had seen. No explanation was recorded. No visual evidence existed. Only those final mysterious words. The discovery created more questions than answers. Then another clue emerged. Researchers examining satellite archives from the night of the disappearance found an unusual anomaly. A bright flash had been recorded near the aircraft's location. The flash lasted less than 2 seconds. Too short to identify, too unusual to ignore. Some scientists believed it was lightning. Others disagreed. The event didn't match any known weather pattern. Conspiracy theories quickly spread online. Some claimed the aircraft had entered a secret military zone. Others suggested experimental technology was involved. A few even believed the plane had encountered something beyond human understanding. Investigators rejected most of these theories. They focused only on facts. Yet even the facts seemed impossible to explain. Then came the final discovery. Deep inside the recovered wreckage, technicians found a damaged digital recorder. Most of its files were corrupted. Only one short video clip remained. The footage lasted just 8 seconds. It showed frightened passengers looking out the aircraft windows. Several people appeared to be pointing at something outside, but the image quality was terrible. The object could not be identified. As the camera moved toward the window, the video suddenly ended. To this day, nobody knows what the passengers were looking at. The mystery of Flight A-27 remains unsolved. Investigators recovered wreckage. They recovered recordings. They recovered clues. But they never recovered the truth. What happened during those final moments? Why was the strange message transmitted years later? And what did the pilots see before the recording ended? Perhaps someday the answers will be found. Until then, Flight A-27 remains one of the most chilling aviation mysteries ever recorded. The mystery may be buried beneath the ocean, but it has never truly disappeared. The end. Flight A-27, The Plane That Vanished, Part 3. The discovery of the wreckage should have answered the mystery. Instead, it made everything even stranger. Investigators now had physical evidence. They had recovered pieces of the aircraft. They had cockpit recordings. They had the mysterious transmission. Yet none of it explained what truly happened to Flight A-27. Months after the wreckage was recovered, a confidential report was leaked online. According to the document, several investigators believed important information had been hidden from the public. The report mentioned unusual radar activity detected on the night of the disappearance. A second object had reportedly appeared near Flight A-27 shortly before radar contact was lost. The object did not match any known aircraft. It moved too fast, changed direction too quickly, and then disappeared. Officials dismissed the report as unverified, but public curiosity exploded. What was the mysterious object? Could it have been connected to the disappearance? Or was it simply a radar malfunction? No one knew. As researchers continued studying the recovered video clip, they noticed something unexpected. The blurry object outside the passenger window appeared in multiple frames. Using modern image enhancement software, they attempted to improve the footage. The results were shocking. The object appeared circular, dark, and completely silent. Experts disagreed about what it actually was. Some believed it was merely a cloud formation. Others argued it could have been another aircraft. A few insisted it was something entirely unknown. The debate continued for years. Then another breakthrough occurred. One of the recovered passenger devices contained partially damaged data. Most files were unreadable, but investigators managed to recover a short text message. The message had never been sent. It was written only minutes before communication with the aircraft was lost. The message read, "Something is outside the window. People are scared. I don't know what it is." The message ended there. No further information existed. For investigators, it was another clue, but once again, not an answer. Meanwhile, scientists studying the aircraft's black box data discovered something unusual. The aircraft's instruments had recorded impossible readings during the final moments. Altitude numbers fluctuated wildly. Navigation systems reported conflicting positions. Several sensors appeared to fail simultaneously. Normally, such failures could be explained by electrical problems, but engineers found no evidence of a system-wide malfunction. It was as if the aircraft had entered an environment that disrupted every instrument on board. The findings puzzled experts around the world. Years later, one retired investigator decided to review the case one final time. He spent months examining every report, every recording, and every recovered piece of evidence. Eventually, he reached a conclusion. Not an answer, just a theory. He believed Flight A-27 had encountered an extremely rare atmospheric phenomenon, something so unusual that modern science still could not fully explain it. A combination of severe weather, electrical disturbances, and unknown environmental conditions. According to his theory, these events caused the aircraft's systems to fail and led to the tragedy. Many experts supported the explanation. Others remained unconvinced. They pointed out that the mysterious transmission, the strange object, and the unexplained radar data still had no answers. Even today, the mystery continues. The wreckage was found. The recordings were recovered. The clues were analyzed. But the truth remains hidden somewhere beneath the Atlantic Ocean. Perhaps the full story will never be known. Perhaps some mysteries are destined to remain unsolved. What really happened to Flight A-27? Was it an extraordinary natural event, a tragic accident, or something that humanity has yet to understand? The answer may still be waiting, buried beneath miles of ocean water, hidden in the darkness, waiting for someone to finally uncover the truth. Until that day arrives, Flight A-27 remains one of the most chilling and fascinating mysteries ever told. And maybe, just maybe, the final secret of Flight A-27 has not been discovered yet. There must be one.